So I listened to a service today
Oh, well, I was working.
about sexual identity. They're open and saying, hey, if anyone's here, LGBT, like we welcome you, we love you, like we're so glad you're here. But they still have traditional views.
Trying to find out their stance on LGBTQ, and it seems like they're open, but it's just, you can't just Google that stuff.
I'm kind of surprised though, like I wonder how do you not know their stance from going to their church for so long?
Because it's not I remember they have had services where they've talked about it, but I just don't remember.
You know, Ben doesn't remember a lot apparently, which I understand. I get it. Maybe as long COVID, because I swear to God I do, and my memory just like boop, 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 boop. But at the same time,
They sent around good, wholesome messaging that everyone can kind of get something from. And
it feels a little bit like, let's be nice to the gays so we can trick them into thinking this church is a safe space. And then we put them in conversion camps.
They were talking about like, as a parent, what would you do if your child came up to you and they were like 12, 13 saying, oh, I feel like I'm a boy, but in a girl's body, you know?
yeah,
What he said was like, God made us who we are, and, you know, like desires are different than actions.
Ooh, Sarah, call him out, girl. Call out Ben. See how ignorance can be worse than intentionality? Because if Ben was like, with his full chest, like, I don't agree with LGBT, then okay, we'll write him off. But see, because he's playing naive and he forgets, we give him a chance. But the truth is that he's using that naivety and I don't remember and I forget, I'm not sure, as a way to get Sarah and like eat his cake and have it too. You can't, girls, you can't eat your cake and have it too, okay? You can either have your cake or you can eat it and then you don't have it anymore. Okay, that's what he wants. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. Sorry, Ben. No.
He made the example of like, you know, love doesn't equal affirmation.
Ooh.
He said, if your child came home and said like, Mom, I'm fat, I'm gonna go on a super strict diet, you'd be saying, no, you're not fat, we're gonna get you the help you need. But like, I don't think that is a good example pertaining to how someone identifies themselves, like, especially
Yeah.
for like sexual identity
Yeah.
or like in that way. If
Let's go, Ben. Come on, give us an answer. See, even though, like, I don't know if Netflix is editing it in this way, but even his facial expressions, like, I can't tell if he's thinking, oh God, she's on to me, or if he's thinking like, I just genuinely don't remember. Like, I don't know what he's thinking.
feeling something about themselves, like who is that for us to change their mind? I didn't agree with that.
yeah, I don't agree with that either.
Interesting. So Ben says, I don't agree with that either. And that is good to hear. But what does it mean?
I wouldn't want like a church to create like conflict between me and you, or like me and you and our kids, or like me and you and our family.
I kind of think that's why they don't talk about it a ton, is because they're like, we want everyone to feel comfortable here.
Until meeting you, I never considered going to church. It is like difficult for me to like, I want to bring you to Pride and like
Yeah.
totally know.
And I, like,
and I
yeah.
know you would, but
Yeah.
like it's just hearing that service. I just like know that that's a huge value of mine, making sure everyone feels comfortable going
Yeah.
into a certain space and like loved. Like that's what makes the world so beautiful is the diversity.
And that's where I'm at too. I'll go to Pride with you, and I believe in that, and I believe in equality, and these differences are beautiful, and diversity is beautiful, and that's how I feel like at the end of the day, it's love that we need to portray in the world.
Ooh, Ben is giving. I don't even know if he's sharing his real opinions. It feels like he's not there. Hi, Ben. Are you listening to Sarah? Sarah is very awake. Her eyes are very pointed. Ben is like, yeah. Like, he's like, is he high? Like, he's not giving serious. He's giving avoiding the conversation, like he doesn't want to fight. He's giving me very white people trying not to start a fight, so we're not going to have a hard conversation. And Sarah's giving, I'm a white woman who's progressive, I'm going to start a fight, and I need you to be on my side, or, you know, what are we going to do about this? And it feels like he's running away from the conversation while saying what's going to reassure her, but she can tell, I can tell, it doesn't feel real.
It is such a value of mine, and I don't want to make that like the only value of mine, you know.
I know, it's one of those things where it's come up so much where I'm like,
I know, and I have so many.
It's kind of a big deal. It kind of directly impacts her family. So it might not be her whole personality, but one of the most important people in her life happen to fall into this category of person. It's kind of a big deal.
we talk about it, and we'll continue to talk about it as it comes up. But it kind of minimizes the other values that we see and that we relate.
Red flags flying in the background of our lives.
I feel like it creates almost like a divide by the amount of we talk about it, and it's like, it's not even a divide though either.
I don't think it's divide either. I just think I hate to even use the word controversial because they shouldn't be controversial.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Some people have really strong views.
Well, do you feel like you do have that clarity?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I do have that clarity.
I think she's lying. I don't think she has that clarity. I don't think they've settled it. I don't think they're talking about it enough. I feel like they've talked about it too much. She should have left. I feel like they have been talking about it too much in the sense that she should have dumped him and never believed him. The moment she saw that sermon at the church, be like, with peace and love, girl. And even when he says like, I'll go to Pride with you, like I'll do that with you, he's not getting it. it's wrong. It's not right.
Friends, I've met your LGBT friends. You've met my sister. Like,
Yeah, almost like LGBT people can't be self-destructive, right? I mean, look at how many LGBT content creators there are who are conservatives, who peddle conservative beliefs. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you're for us. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're for us. Just because, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean anything. Your actions and what you stand for means something, and he's not giving me the right signals.
do you have any questions for me?
Honestly, I'm so exhausted and just tired that I'm like just relaxed, like trying to just. I know it's our last kind of night to like talk about things and throw it on the table, but man, I had a long day at work today, and I have not thought about too much stuff.
He was giving spaced out, which I can see on Sarah's face is maybe giving concern. I'm concerned. Interesting. The last night they have to talk before the weddings, and this energy.
We know we'll always be there for one another. Even being able to have that conversation with him about the service today, I feel like he heard me and he understood why I felt the way I did.
That's interesting because I would not have felt heard by that conversation. But I feel like if I was coping, I would say I felt heard.
I just wanted to have another eye look at it, and I brought it to our family attorney, and then I had my mom check it out. After they read over it, they kind of were saying, it looks like you kind of leave with what you came with. I already felt okay with it because I was like, it just makes sense. When I had a conversation with my mom about it, she was just like a lot more at ease with the thought of it. It actually made me feel a lot better about it too, just because, they feel better.
Based off of our last conversation, I didn't really know if you were like leaning one way or the other, like I thought, originally.
Right.
But then I didn't know.
Yeah, so I feel fine about it, and
Good.
I'm willing to sign it.
Good news.
Okay, wow. So basically, Devin was just saying that he had his mom and attorney look it over. They're very good with it. Like they feel more relaxed about the prenup. That it sounds scary. Virginia was saying it probably sounds scary to people because they don't know what it is. And again, I think if you're somebody who comes in with it and the person's not used to it, it can feel like, oh, why are you going into our marriage thinking we're going to get divorced? But it's also like reassuring to know that the prenup at the end of the day is just saying, hey, if the worst happens, there's abuse in the marriage, we get divorced, or if there's a reason we separate or we fall apart, whatever it is, we get divorced, we leave with what we came with. And that's the best case for any divorce. Because honestly, divorces get ugly because people's feelings are involved. Divorces can get ugly because the people might hate each other. I've seen some pretty good divorces in my life, like genuinely like the best case scenario divorces. And those happen when the people, truly understand that the marriage is over and also don't hate the person they're divorcing. But when you hate the person you're divorcing, which is more common than not, sometimes those feelings, because we're not like these great wise creatures, we go for people in court, and that sounds scary, right? So make sure you know who you're marrying. Make sure you're making a good decision. Make sure your values are aligned. Now, what's interesting is that they're willing to sign the prenup, but I wonder how the political conversation is actually going to play a bigger role in whether or not they marry each other. I do get the sense that Virginia and Devin are a little bit, they're very into each other, but they also feel insecure in a sense and unsure. And I wonder how much that's going to weigh come wedding day. Oh, I was not prepared for Ben and Sarah's wedding day today in this episode. I'm shook. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Of course, there's things I'm considering.
You should be questioning things.
Yeah. It's not like we have opposing views or like we're unaligned. I've always thought when meeting my partner that we'd just be in the same place, but like it's never going to be a perfect world either.
Oh, no. I mean, everybody has a right to their views and beliefs, and, it's a matter of just respecting that.
Not when it comes to partnership. It's, we should respect our neighbors. We should respect everybody on the planet, give them dignity, show dignity. But when it comes to who you share a bed with, who you share finances with, who you're going to make babies with, who you're going to do life with, your best friend, your partner, I think values being aligned is incredibly important. And those values will look different to every unique couple. That's why I say, like, build a construct, build a bubble around you and your partner, and make sure that you guys are on the same page of what that looks like. Because it's you against the world in some ways. It's not like the world's not paying your bills, the world's not raising your kids, like you're doing those things. And yes, the world helps, our communities help, but our communities, they're not the ones sleeping with us at night. They're not the ones really taking on our fears in that traditional way. Like, my partner and I, we confide in one another. We are each other's best friend, our teammates. So we have to be on the same page. And yeah, there are going to be hard conversations about politics or whatever else, but make sure by the end of the hard conversation, you're on the same page, right? Sarah and Ben, they're just not there for me personally. And I think I see the doubt. Obviously, it's being displayed in this conversation, right? There's doubt.
I know, but I think she feels that she should. I'm worried
So the sister and the wife are just basically saying like, I'm worried that Sarah's going to say yes just because she feels like she has to. And she wants to reassure her to like do this for you, you know?
Will you get married and commit to face life together as husband and wife, or will you walk away forever? Sarah, will you embrace Ben? If yes, say, I will.
What? I was so invested. No, we're going to go to the next episode and see what happens because this episode is the Ben and Sarah will they episode. Absolutely not, sir. Here we go.
If yes, say, I will.
I love you so much, but I've always wanted a partner to be on the same wavelength. And so today I can't.
Okay. Okay. She's so good. I love her. I knew that was, God, the amount of pressure she must have been feeling. Netflix does this edit where there's like a heartbeat sound. I'm sure it felt that way for her, that it felt like, oh my gosh, like everyone's waiting for me. I'm on TV. I am so proud of her. I am so proud of her. Values is a part of high compatibility. Gotta see reality the same. The fact that she doesn't really believe in Jesus Christ and he does, that's enough, girl. That's a testament. That is a very difficult marriage to maintain.
All right, but I don't want that to be misunderstood. I still love you and everything about you is amazing.
Interesting. He's like smiling and I'm not sure if it's like a defense mechanism or if it's the editing, but he's got this like smile on his face and I don't know if he's just like shocked.
I love you so much, and I know I want to stay with you and keep growing our relationship if you'll let me.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that.
Okay, interesting. I think she's surprised at that reaction. I think he's surprised. I wonder if he saw it coming and had already planned. And then interesting. Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Get me out of here. No. No. You guys, really, I'm okay. I'll go.
Well, it's okay if you're not.
No, I'm just sad. I knew seeing him was gonna bring me, like, just make my heart melt. He is everything, pretty much, that I've wanted. I feel kind of numb. Do you? Oh, yeah. I just hope I made the right decision.
She said she was feeling numb. She is. She looks like a little numb. Oh, look. Okay, the girls. Okay, Lauren is here and Molly's here at the wedding. I can see them in this little screenshot here. It's hard. It's a hard decision to make. I'm just glad that she didn't rush into it.
We love you.
It was a lot, but we're rolling with it. I just want to talk to her. Yeah.
Was it like the time frame?
I mean, I knew the whole time coming into this, the time frame, like, that's not, like, I feel like I know him. Like, I asked him about, like, Black Lives Matter, and I'm no expert. But, like, when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I've never really thought too much about it. That affected me.
It's about introspection levels. You want to be on the same page as your partner, because I hate to say this, you know, it's one thing to look at our parents or to look at our neighbors as somebody who, like, doesn't get it. Like, oh, they don't get it. It's really hard to look at your partner and think, oh my God, they don't get it. It's real. I mean, really, you want to talk about leading up to a divorce? Thinking your partner isn't as smart or introspective, worrying that your partner isn't going to have the same reaction or mature response to when life gets hard. Like, that's really, really important. It's not, you know, it's not casual. And I do think a lot of relationships settle. And I do think a lot of people end up in divorce because they don't talk about these values. It's not something that can be ignored. It's serious.
I told that to Ben. And his thoughts on it. He doesn't really have much to say about it, you know?
She wants somebody who thinks. She wants somebody who introspects. I mean, I think that's why I really love my partner. It feels like we're on, you know, very similar pages and we're just going to get deeper and more introspective as we age, hopefully into our wisdom. I mean, we're young now. So hopefully when we're old, we'll encourage each other to grow, to be curious, to ask each other hard questions, stuff like that.
Sometimes I did wonder if it was surface, fun, carefree love that we had. Equality, religion, the vaccine, right? Like, I brought up all these things.
Oh, hey, whoa, what should I say? That was the spoiler that I saw on David Pakman, was a thumbnail of Sarah's face saying Trump voters or conservatives mad, like celebrity, whatever, dumped guy over vaccine. This is the first time we're hearing the V word.
I've always just thought that I'd want to be with someone who was more curious, more curious about my brain and like how I think about things.
Yes, girl. Ooh, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. My partner and I were just joking about that this morning. I was like, oh my God, when we first got together, I mean, like 30,000 messages of like, how does your brain work? How does it? And that's what we do now. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Like, we're always asking each other, like, what do you think? Why did you come to that conclusion? But why is that what you came? Why? Like, why do you think this? Why is everything? Ben, he doesn't feel like a guy who ever thinks about why he does anything.
You can say anything you want, but show me. That would have changed everything.
I totally agree. I think she wasn't getting the right vibe, the right energy. Like, there's just certain things your partner says to you that means they get it. And if they're not giving that to you, you don't want to feel alone in a marriage. Listen to me. The worst thing you can do is sign up for a marriage where you feel lonely in your own marriage.
Did you see this coming? Are you like...
No, I had thought we were on the same page, but that's the whole thing of this whole process is, you know, you don't know until you're at the altar.
Okay, Ben's handling it really well. He's being very compassionate, I think. Or is he just numb? See, is he denying himself his own feelings, or is he being very respectable with his responses?
Oh yeah. So as much as we talked about it and as confident as I was that we're not going to break up today, there was that nerve of just like that could happen. Like we both align on where we're similar, but we're not aligned perfectly. Like, you know, but it wasn't anything that I didn't think a relationship could work. But seeing me at the end of the aisle, knowing that it's the real thing, she might have just been like, it's just not the right fit.
Okay, that's like a very, like he's responding very maturely.
I did my best and I was myself the whole time, so can't really know or think of a certain situation that I wish I did something differently.
Hey, that's fair. He doesn't have to change how he did things. I hope Ben finds a person who's more compatible with him.
When Ben asked at the altar to continue dating, I was like, I don't want to continue this cycle of hoping and wanting something to work when so very clearly it's not going to.
Ooh. Yo, Sarah's so good. Our girl's been to therapy. She killed it. Exactly. And I think Ben said something similar. I don't know if I added it to the edit, where basically he was like, look, I did my best, and if it wasn't good enough, it's not going to work in the future. I think he probably just said that as a reflex. He probably didn't think about it that much. And it was like a nice gesture, but ultimately, yeah, they're not compatible. But ultimately, I'm so proud of the way this community, this group of people in this bubble have handled a lot of these relationship disagreements. It's so not dramatic. It's so not name-cally or rude. Madison is the most name-cally, and even she is just being like so Gen Z about it. Like Madison reminds me of just the internet. Like it's not that big of a deal. I'm used to dealing with girls in her category. She's not like, it's not a big deal to me. I know a lot of people came for Madison. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in another episode. But genuinely, like, for the most part, this community has been the least dramatic and like very nice to each other.
It's not a good fit.
We're going to end there. This is the episode 13. So I guess we're going to see you for next episode. Monica and Joey's wedding, very exciting stuff. All of this to say, I encourage you to find your high compatibility partner. I think it will be a world of difference for you if you've ever had previous relationships, if you ever moved in with somebody who wasn't high compatible. I've been there. I've done it. For me, at least, completely life-changing to live with somebody who's high compatible. Just every day is a great day. Literally, every day is a great day. Even when life is hard, the marriage isn't. Game changer, girls. Game changer. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you for the next one. Bye.